in the waiting room, and then we'll just go and get started. My name is Jennifer McMillan Barnes. I'm principal at Lee Virtual School. Thank you for being here tonight. It looks like I have two of you on the phone, and Miss is it Matuska? I'm sorry,
Matuska. Yeah.
Matuska. Okay. What grade is your child in?
Currently she's in first grade. This is
Okay.
my husband, Steven.
Oh,
Hello.
hi. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So yeah, awesome. First graders are the best. And I'm not sure what grade level the other family who is on the line. I don't see a name. Do you have a grade level of a child that is interested in Lee Virtual School? All right. Well, I'm going to share my presentation. I have just redone my presentation, so it's not beautiful yet.
No worries.
It is in its very basic stage. I'm someone who likes to put everything on the presentation and then make it pretty. And I have not made it pretty yet. So, oh goodness. It's always hard on my little screen. When I'm at work, I've got this huge big screen. So
Yeah.
you can see everything. But for whatever reason, it is, there we go, I think, maybe. Slideshow from beginning. So, our mascot is a surfer. I guess when the school was first opened, it was considered surfing, the
Right.
wild web. Which it's Florida too, so surfer kind of works, right? Surfing the web. So I'd like to just kind of start out by letting you know kind of what Lee Virtual School is. We are a public school and we service grades K through 12. About half of our families have been with us since kindergarten, especially for kindergarten through 8th grade. High school tends to be where we have a lot more new students because of the acceleration piece of our school. But usually our elementary families, once they join us, they stay with us, which is really awesome. We follow, because we are we are a school of Lee County's school district. We follow their instructional calendar, which means we have all the same days off. A lot of our families also have some students that may be in a brick and mortar traditional school, and that may be in Lee Virtual School. So if you have children in both, they maintain the same calendar. Students are able to participate in district extracurricular activities. That's usually more geared towards our middle and our high school who want to play sports or participate in the theater programs or any of the arts schools and programs that are around, or the academies. We do have local, highly qualified teachers. Having local teachers does allow for some in-person as needed or desired. We don't have a tremendous amount of in-person, but we do offer, especially for our elementary, they do once a quarter a meetup at parks, and they do little celebrations for all the things that they're working on. So elementary does a lot more of those personal meetups, but once again, optional, not a mandatory situation. Our students take all district and state assessments. Our students, it's part of our progress monitoring so that our teachers know how to adjust their instruction throughout the year to meet student needs, learning needs. We utilize district programs and resources. Our main curriculum is Florida Virtual. We use their online platform and their curriculum. However, we do a lot of supplementing with our district resources. Students who meet graduation requirements receive diplomas, and we do have an in-person graduation. That is the way that we're very different than Florida Virtual. They do not. So we do have an in-person one. Some families think of Lee Virtual School as homeschool, but that is not the case. We are a school district of Lee County School, which is very, very different than homeschool. If home education is something, home education is where the parent is the directly involved, and the parent decides on the curriculum, and the parent decides the type of learning that the child is receiving. If that is something you're interested in, I am the supervisor for both Lee Virtual School and for home education. So I can point you in the direction of that if that is something that you're interested in. With Lee County, however, we provide Chromebooks. We do not provide Chromebooks in homeschool, and we do follow the district guidelines. There's a lot of benefit for virtual learning. First and foremost, it's flexibility for families. I like to call it structured flexibility. The structure part of it is the curriculum. Our teachers provide you the assignments that are due in every class by week. So you have the ability to see what your child is doing all the time. So you're able to see all the lessons, you're able to participate in the lessons. The flexibility part of it comes in where you decide what the time frame is that your child is going to do their work. That is the flexibility part. So we have a lot of high schoolers who work jobs. Some of them don't work until midnight because they're working a part-time job, or they're doing extracurricular activities. We have quite a few traveling athletes and things like that, who maybe they're practicing during the day, or they're doing something like that, and then at night they're doing their assignments. We offer a lot of one-to-one teacher support. I would say that that is probably one of the greatest advantages in elementary, especially. Well, in high school or middle school, but in elementary, teachers really can schedule that with you, and they can work one-on-one with your child within areas that they're not doing well. Same in high school and middle school. Teachers prefer to do one-on-one so that they can really target the areas that a child may be having misunderstanding or not doing well in. We offer unique electives. We are offering families the option for an elective this coming year in elementary. Elementary, it is not mandatory that students take electives, but we are offering that as acceleration this coming year. Middle schoolers they have opportunities to earn high school credits with a lot of our electives. They are usually able to go to high school with maybe 3 to 4 high school classes under their belt, which is a huge benefit, especially for if there's any families that are interested in graduating early. We have anywhere from 10 to 15 kids at least every single year that graduate a year ahead, because they just keep working. They just keep working and they graduate a year early. So that is something that is possible in Lee Virtual School that's not possible in brick and mortar. Real life skills. Our world is like very different since COVID, right? Being able to take a virtual course is a skill. Just like I'm speaking with you right now through Zoom. Students, most colleges and universities now are online. So these are the kind of experiences kids would have if they were in college. My son graduated in 2020, and I like to use this example because I personally have a connection of why I think virtual learning and taking at least one virtual course before you go to college is important. He was a straight A student, got a scholarship to FSU, got up there his very first year, and all of his classes were online because it was 2020. and did not do well. Virtual learning teaches children about time management, and it teaches children how to be more independent learners. He was the kid who went to school and did all his work while he was in class, never had homework because he did it while he was at school, and did not have to manage his time because his time was managed for him. Virtual learning is not like that. You know, you have to manage your time, and families have that opportunity to teach their children that skill. Acceleration is a big part of our school. We offer a lot of acceleration opportunities to our middle and our high school students. They, like I said, they have the ability to graduate early if they would like. We also have the Cambridge program, where they can graduate with a higher GPA because it is an accelerated program. The requirements to come to Lee Virtual School is just reside in Lee County. Have reliable internet. That is really, really important because we don't have, we are not able to provide that. During COVID, Lee County did provide some hotspots, but we're not allowed to do that anymore. And families must be willing to bring their students in at the end of the year for state testing as necessary. And students must have access to a phone. Elementary, most of the time when they're talking to their teacher, they're going to be through Zoom, but teachers call regularly to talk to children one-on-one or parents one-on-one. So there must be a phone that they have, that you have access to, so that your child can have access if there's specific things the teacher needs to work with the student on. All right, what can you expect from every level? Hi, Miss Anderson. Which grade level is your child?
Right now, she's in 6th, going into 7th.
Excellent. Okay, so I'll just focus on, since I've got an elementary and a middle, I'll focus on the two of those, okay? Elementary has 4 courses. We have math, science, social studies, and language arts. They also may opt in to have an elective. The 2 electives that we offer our elementaries are going to be offering our elementary next year is art and or computer science. The time required is usually 4 to 6 hours per day of schoolwork. Students have 8 to 10 assignments per week for all courses. So they average about 2 assignments that they need to complete daily. So most of the classes provide 2 assignments a week. So that's 2 in language arts, 2 in math, 2 in science, and 2 in social studies. The parent is a partner with the teacher to make sure, you know, the teacher really communicates with the parent a great deal, sometimes on a weekly basis. Teachers can communicate through phone calls, through emails, and or text messages. One of the things that we do at the very beginning is that the teacher reaches out to you and talks to you and asks, how would you like to receive communication? Because we want to provide the communication in a manner that works for you. I also send out a weekly email to parents directly to your emails. I started doing that this year because I found school messenger, families don't like school messenger. I know when my kids were at school, I was not a fan of school messenger. So and there's so much information, especially when you're a K through 12 school, there's a lot of information to share on a regular basis. So now I email everything you need to know for the next week so that you're not wondering what's going on, you know, because there's so much. When you have grades K through 12, it's a busy school. So it's much easier. And I found parents appreciate that more. Just one email a week. And I usually highlight it by grade level and the really important things I highlight. So you don't necessarily have to read the whole thing, even though it is helpful. But look for the highlighted and the grade levels and that kind of stuff so that you can get the specific information for your child, right? Middle school students take 6 courses per semester. The average time is 6 to 7 hours per school day. You don't have a set time for your school day. You get to decide that. So whatever that looks like. There are on average 2 to 3 assignments for every course every week. It depends on how long or how short they are. Like if there's semi-long lessons, there's only going to be 2 for that course. So that means there's going to be 12 to 15 assignments per week. Most assignments take anywhere from 30 minutes to about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, depending on the assignment itself. So I do like for families to kind of know that. In middle school, I always say, families, focus on your child completing and turning in 3 assignments per day. And they should be 3 different classes, not just all one class. Middle school kids like to do just 1 class a day. Not a good idea because they get bored and then they get behind. So 1 class, 3 assignments per day. Some middle schoolers, once they get the hang of it, they realize that it's really easy and they can do more than 3 in a day. The coursework itself is not necessarily easy, but once they realize what they have to do and they get into that routine, in general, our kids work way ahead. We have quite a few kids who complete all of their work a month before school's out. We have about 25% of our middle and high schoolers that are already done for the year. Our elementary in general, I think the kids really enjoy their time with their teacher because teachers do live lessons regularly. Not every day, but like every other day. And they really enjoy their time with their teacher. So not always do our elementaries work that far in advance, but middle and high school definitely. And the job of the parent in middle and high school is really to monitor progress weekly. And what that means is, or if not, the parent needs to communicate with the teacher. We want the parent just as involved as the child. I'm just going to show you this slide, but this really doesn't apply to either one of you. But Cambridge and Doolan, we offer for our high school students the opportunity to earn an accelerated diploma with Cambridge. And then starting in 11th grade, our students can do dual enrollment. Many of our students earn their AA before they leave high school. My daughter did that at Riverdale. She was a student at Riverdale. She did full-time dual enrollment the last 2 years, and she had her AA before she left high school. And it's all free because the district pays for it. Also, both of these programs allow students to qualify for the highest of Bright Futures scholarships. And believe me, you want your children to do that. My son qualified for the highest Bright Futures, and it has been a godsend. So highly recommend dual enrollment and Cambridge. So let's talk about skills that students need to be successful. They have to be willing to communicate with the teachers on the phone, through text messages, possibly elementary, not as much, but they need to be willing to communicate with their teachers. Teachers have to do something. This is different than what a brick and mortar does. Teachers do something called discussion-based assessments, where they actually have to ask the children questions and hear what the child says. Children can use their notes, they can use their assignments that they did, but what this allows the teacher to do is know if the student is ready to take the test. Students can only take the test once. So we do discussion-based assessments to ensure that they're ready to take the test and that they will pass it. If they are not ready to pass the test for that unit, then the teacher will tell them where to go back and study and or schedule a help session with that student on the specific things that they need to more help in. Okay, so I like to tell families that the discussion-based assessments are not gotchas. They are literally, let me see what you know, sweetheart, and let me see what I can need to help you with. So that's what those are for. But students need to be able to talk to the teacher. And I know that students can be very, very shy, but our teachers are so nice and so awesome. So you'd really like them. Self-advocacy. This is something I think that is really amazing about virtual learning, is that students learn how to verbalize and how to communicate what they need from their teacher. So that's so important. Middle school and high school especially, they need self-motivation to complete their courses. If you have a student who is not doing their work in high school and does not want and just fights everything, they're not going to do well in virtual learning. Virtual learning requires students to stay on task. I like to give an example of my children again. I had two very different children. I had one who would have been really great at virtual learning and one that would not have been as great. I would have had to push him all the way, even though he was really smart. My daughter was the kind, all she wanted to do was get her work done. She didn't want to be bothered with all the fluffy stuff that was in class. And by fluffy, I mean, standing up and doing the different things that teachers do. And those things are great. However, that doesn't happen in virtual school. Students are independent learners. Computer literacy is just a basic knowledge of how computers work is really all that's needed. Our teachers spent a great deal of time at the beginning of the school year showing students our platform, which is pretty easy to navigate. It just takes a little practice. So if they're good at logging onto the internet, they would be good with our platform. Time management skills. This more so applies to middle and high school. Obviously, elementary doesn't always have these skills. So that's going to be more on the parent to ensure that there is a specific time that they're doing their work. Grit and perseverance. We just want kids who want to learn, and they ask for help when they need it. That's the greatest thing. They don't have to be the most amazing student in the world. They just have to say to their teacher, hey, I don't understand this. Can you help me? That's really all they have to say. And in virtual learning, a teacher can't know if a child needs help because they are not looking at your child every day, right? They're not in the classroom. So part of that is parents advocating for their child, like, hey, Miss Carter, so 6th grade teacher this year, Miss Carter, could you help Johnny with writing a paragraph or an opening hook or something, right? And then she'll make time and she'll do it one-on-one, which is what is pretty awesome about virtual learning. So what can your student expect? Students receive a pace chart with their assignments divided by week. So we operate on semesters. So we do one semester is 2 quarters. So a teacher will take 18 weeks and divide it out by assignments. Most courses only have, and this is what can be a little overwhelming at first. When you open up a course, when you look at all the assignments, you're going to get a long list for math. And it's going to be around 30 assignments. So I will go ahead and tell you most of them range between 24 and 36, depending on the course. But that's 36 for the entire semester. If you think about what happens in brick and mortar, so for instance, at my middle school that I was the principal at before, teachers did bell work. That was one assignment. They did classwork, and then usually they had homework. So usually they had 3 assignments a day per class. And that winds up being a lot more than 24 to 36 assignments for an entire semester. So 2 to 3 assignments per week per course. Students must sign in every day for attendance. That's just how we take attendance. Students work on their assignments independently from the teacher, unless you have set it up with the teacher and and for a specific tutoring session. Every teacher has live lessons. Elementary has a lot more live lessons than middle or high school. Elementary kids tend to love their teachers, so they want to see them. Middle and high school are a little bit harder to get to live lessons, but teachers post all kinds of resources. So live lessons are not mandatory. However, they are encouraged in middle and high school because students can't just look at an assignment and automatically know everything they need to know. The video resources that a teacher provides and the live lessons are very helpful. Communicate with teachers through text, emails, daily or weekly, and then have one-to-one phone conversations, like I said before, for discussion-based assessments. What can you expect the teachers to do? You can expect the teachers to have the assignments broken down by week. So you know exactly what week you're on as a parent and what week where your child is supposed to be every single week. The teachers will provide resources. They will provide a lot of video resources. Teachers will call you, especially the first month. They will call you once a month to see how you're doing. And then they will call you every single month to give you an updated progress of where your child is specifically. And during those monthly contacts, they will talk about how they did on the progress monitoring assessments that they took, how they're doing in their class. Are they on pace to complete the class by the end of the semester? Those kind of things. They will also tell you what skills they are seeing your child needing help in, or what your specific skills your child is doing well in. So it could be things that they need help, but it could also be things that they're doing very well. Teachers have a lot of availability, but it has to get scheduled. That's what they work on all day, every day. They grade. They're constantly grading. And then when they're not grading, they are working with students individually. One of the things that I think is really cool about virtual learning, and I think parents appreciate this so much, is the type of feedback that a teacher provides for every assignment. Virtual school is about mastery, and it's not just about turning it in and getting it done. It's about, is the child understanding? So our teachers have to provide, and they must provide very specific feedback. So if a child doesn't do well on an assignment, they have to say, here's what I need you to do, this, and go reread this part, and those kind of things. They have to give you exactly what they did well on and exactly what they did not do well on. And then also they complete discussion-based assessments before every unit test. We call them modules, but I tend to find that families understand unit tests, like chapter tests, better because it's the terminology is the same, but it's just, I mean, the meaning is the same, but the terminology is different. What can I expect from the school? We will offer a student parent orientation. And with that, you will meet teachers, you will learn how to turn in assignments, you will learn the ins and the outs of the platform. And have the ability to learn all those things so that you can help your student. We also have first days of school where you get to meet the teachers, where students come in and they get to meet the teachers. There is weekly emails to parents from me. I send those regularly. We have a monthly newsletter that gets posted on our website. We also have 2 tech specialists in our building that are able to support the Chromebooks from home. So if there's an issue with a Chromebook, you can call. There's Mr. Metzner and Mr. Kavanaugh. They take a phone call and they try to figure out what's going on with the technology over the phone. And if they can't, they'll ask you to come in. And then, of course, there's regular communication through School Messenger. We are also, one of the things I did not add to this is we are also going to provide in-person opportunities for the first month of school for families to come in and ask specific questions of teachers. Sometimes the hardest part about it is the technology, only because for parents, not necessarily the kids, but for parents. So we are there to help get students up and running as quickly as we can. All right. If you are interested in applying and becoming having your child join Lee Virtual School, all you have to do is go to www.leeschools.net, and there is an application for Lee Virtual School. It'll say LVS application. Just complete that and email it to student enrollment. That is the end of my presentation. Do you guys have any specific questions?
I do.
Awesome.
Do the kids ever get together and meet as like 7th grade? How often and where is that normally?
So there are optional meetups. We do have clubs. We have a lot of middle schoolers who really enjoy clubs. Our elementary and our high school, we've done clubs before, but they weren't as successful as our middle school clubs. Middle school clubs tend to be a lot more fun. This year we had a video game club, and they built a computer in this club, and they had like 20 kids that were coming. Next year we're working really hard to increase our clubs. Last year we had a chess club, and the teacher did not want to do it again this year, but he's already talking, I think I want to do it again next year. And then we also have National Junior Honor Society and National Honor Society for students who want to participate in community events. And they do things like clean up campuses and or fundraiser type things, or Harry Chapin food bank, like collecting cans for Harry Chapin, things like that. So they do have in-person meetings for those kind of things. Our teachers also will have class meetups. We have a room in the district office where they will have meetups. Usually like every couple of months in middle and high school. Elementary, they do it once a quarter. And they tend to have a little bit more meetups because they meet at parks and stuff like that, and the kids love to play together. But those are kind of all just decided on and then offered. We don't get a huge turnout with middle and high school, but like I said, the clubs tend to. We also have digital design, which is also for our middle and high schoolers, that they meet virtually. So we do offer some virtual clubs as well.
2 more questions. Where is the district office located?
It's on Colonial Boulevard. It is, do you know where corner of Metro and Colonial.
I think, yes, I was there yesterday taking Addie to,
Mhm,
yes, so yes, I was there in that area yesterday.
mhm.
We're new to the area. We just moved here 8 months ago, so
Oh, okay. Well, welcome to Southwest Florida.
thank you. And then at the beginning, I think you said you also are in charge of the home education.
Yes, ma'am.
Can I get information on that as well?
Yes, if you would just call our office tomorrow, if you don't mind.
What's
It's
the number?
239-337-8178. And just ask for home education and they will transfer you to one. We have 3 lovely ladies that work in home education and they can explain it. Is there any particular question that maybe you have?
No, she
Well, yeah, like checking in every day.
oh, like checking in every day. Like right now, our daughter homeschools through a school in California, an out-of-state school.
Mhm.
And it's like we can go as far as advanced as we want, but you said we could go as far advanced as we want throughout the year, correct? Like if we
Correct.
want, would we be able to finish or like go move on to the next year early, or would we have to wait for, like, say she wanted to finish 7th grade early? Would she be able then to continue on to the 8th grade education, or would she have to wait until like the next school year to start?
Nope, she can go ahead and start moving forward when she's ready.
What
Okay.
about the daily check-in?
And what about daily check-in? Like what if we decide we just want to get up and go on vacation and we don't want to have to worry about schoolwork this week, but we want to do it all next week? How does
Um,
that?
So when that kind of situation occurs, we have no problem with that. Just communicate with the teachers that you're going to be on vacation, and as long as she is on pace, they mark them present.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
Mhm. It really isn't, it's more of a formality for us that we have to do because it's a state law and we have to do like, because we're a
Have to
public
make sure you're
school.
checking in and all that. Yeah,
But
we
really,
understand that.
it's all about communication with our families, and if we know ahead of time, we don't mark them absent and it's all good.
Perfect. Thank you.
And home education is you know, with home education, you only take the courses that you want to take. If you are interested in her earning a regular diploma, then, and home education students don't test. So that's another thing. It just kind of depends on what it is you're looking for specifically. A lot of families want the whole concept of a public school where they are being assessed and they are able to accelerate and, you know, take earn credits and all of those things and graduate. But I just suggest talking to the home education ladies and they can really probably answer more of your questions. But I would say that that's kind of the difference.
Perfect. Thank you. I
You're
appreciate it.
welcome.
So to add kind of to that out of town piece, so that we are able to go out of town and still work on the schoolwork, right? And still attend.
Of course, absolutely.
And then the only time I heard that we need to be in person would be at the orientation.
So
Right, and then at the
orientation
end of
at
the
the beginning of the year, and then if there's any testing at the end of the year, your child is in 1st grade.
Yeah,
So all of 1st grade next year, right?
2nd grade next
Okay.
year.
So K-2 does all of their testing virtually.
Okay,
It's only 3rd grade through 11th grade that everything has to be in person at the end of the year. We do
Okay.
all the progress monitoring throughout the year virtually, but the state requires them to come in person at the end of year. So like right now, actually on Friday is our beginning of the end of year testing, but you know those dates way in advance.
okay.
But next year for 2nd grade, that is not the case.
So as long as we're present at the beginning of the year and the end of the year,
Yeah.
and I mean, even if she does night, and we have obviously Lee County residency,
Yes,
even if we do 90% of the work outside the state of Florida,
doesn't matter.
okay,
As long as you're a resident, you know, if you were to decide you were going to live somewhere else, obviously you'd want to,
Transfer.
you know,
Yeah.
you'd want to transfer her, but
And
Mhm.
I'm
The
sorry.
one thing, I will say the one thing that our Chromebooks do not do very well is out of country. So I don't know, there's some countries that it does not work well in.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if
Work
that,
out of the country.
huh?
I said that's surprising they even work out of the country.
Well, yeah, I mean, it just depends which country, you
Yeah,
know, but not all of
this
them.
will all be
work.
like United States traveling.
Yeah.
And then my last question, our daughter has an IEP.
Mhm.
She has some dyslexia and ADHD, so this year she's struggling with her reading.
Mhm.
Is that still in place?
Absolutely,
Okay.
100%. I like to tell families, because this is very, very true. In a virtual setting, students with IEPs honestly get a lot more attention.
Yeah.
Um, right now in our elementary, we only have 11 students who are ESE. But they get one-on-one an hour every single week, and then more if needed with their ESE teacher on top of with their regular ed teacher. So if that is something you want, you don't have to do that, but you actually have a person, so to speak, that is helping you specifically, or helping your child specifically with skills that that is in their IEP.
Okay. All
Mhm.
right. Good to know. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that was kind of my follow-up question. So I mean, I imagine they would get more attention with the IEP
They do.
than they would in general Lee County Public Schools.
I would agree. Yes. Because in Lee County Public Schools, and just because I've been a principal at a middle school for 10 years, teachers push in and they work with a group of kids. So they're not just working one-on-one with a kid very often. But in virtual school, there is a lot of one-on-one opportunity. It is not mandatory. I want to always get back to that, because it's whatever your child needs and whatever you set up with your teacher. And then in the case of your daughter, it would be teachers, because she would have an ESC support person as well.
Okay.
And I mean, would this kind of give her the chance and opportunity, because it is work at her own pace, to kind of catch up if she is a little behind in certain subjects?
Absolutely.
Yeah, her first grade teacher is great. In our opinion, should not be teaching first grade,
Mhm.
like more of a high school. So it's kind of, she's very, very tough on her sometimes.
Yeah. The one thing that I want to say is that our team really works well with families to come up with what does the accommodations look like in a virtual setting.
Yeah.
The key to all of our school is to complete work that is given to you for the entire week. You can choose. We have some families who their children knock out all the work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then they don't work Thursday, Friday. Like, some families, and it sounds like, Ms. Anderson, you're looking for acceleration for your child. So, that is absolutely an opportunity with Lee Virtual School. You can't do that with brick and mortar. You can't work ahead like that. So
If students are in the junior high home education or virtual school, I'm sorry.
virtual school, home education is its own
Yeah.
thing. There's over 4,000 families in home education. But it's very hands-off for the district. Like, we really don't, the family is in charge of the education. So but Lee Virtual School, middle school right now, we have about 150 kids total. Next year, currently, the sixth grade has it at this moment, the enrollment is going to be 42. I anticipate it getting closer to 60. We usually add about, from this point to July, we'll add a lot more in high school than we will middle school. And in sixth grade, we only have 2 academic teachers. So we have a teacher that teaches math and science, and then a teacher that teaches language arts and social studies. And then all of our kids take reading, so there would be a teacher for that, and then an elective. So in sixth grade, they would have 4 teachers
Okay,
total.
perfect. Thank you.
Any questions? I think that's it for now. Thank
And
you for your time. We really
Of
appreciate it.
course, I love talking to new families, and you know, if you have any questions after this, please feel free to email me or call the school. The number is the same that for home education because we work out of the same area. So please feel free to contact us, and we're happy to answer more questions. It's definitely different than brick and mortar. But it like for children, and it sounds like maybe for both of your families, it would be a good fit. I think that you would be very pleased in elementary with the ESE services that your child receives. And I think, Ms. Anderson, with your sixth grade wanting to accelerate, that's what we're for. Like, that's what Lee Virtual School is all about. Both of you, I think, would receive the types of education for your children that you're looking for.
Great. I'm looking forward to getting that application turned in.
Wonderful. And thank you for being here tonight. I really always enjoy, I don't get to see families as much as I'd like, obviously for obvious reasons. But it is really nice to see you guys and answer questions, because your children and their education is what's really, really important. So, and very
Thank you.
important to me as a principal. So
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
have a wonderful evening.
You too.
Thank you for being here.